but we're live now. Just want to give you a heads up. Let's see where the comments are coming from. Cool. I just sent out a text. Looks like some people are starting to come in. Welcome. We'll get started in just a minute or two. Type something in the chat. Let me know that you guys can hear me. Let me know who's out there. Looks like we got more people coming in. Quantize King, what's going on? Roji Gibbs, what up? Yama Agni 902. Appreciate you confirming that you can hear me. Is what gonna come? Well, we're live now, so this isn't. So you guys can always catch the recordings of these on the BeatStars Twitch channel, but we're live every Monday and Thursday at 12 p.m. In case you didn't know. All right, so we're getting more people in here now, so we're gonna go ahead and get started so we can be respectful of Helen's time. Today we have another special guest. I'm excited to learn more about her organization, but she's the director of the Rattle LA. So just the LA location.
Yeah, we it's our second of two locations. We started out with our first facility in London around, I would say 3 years ago now. Yeah, we're coming up to our third anniversary. And I was involved there for a long time. I moved over to LA to start our second site last February.
Nice. So before we jump into exactly what Rattle is, do you want to just talk about your background briefly and how you got into music in the first place?
Sure. I think I was into music before I was into anything else. My mom was a piano teacher. I started piano and violin when I was a very, very little baby. And I decided when I was 12, I wanted to be a film score composer, like every 12-year-old dreams to be. And I ended up going to university, studying music, but I went to a very old-fashioned university in the UK. Taught me how to write great string quartets, great fugues. Never set foot in a studio. Never used any music software apart from Sibelius. Anybody else out there like Sibelius? So when it came to actually writing and building a career out of it, I was completely unprepared. So I made kind of a pretty big swing career-wise. I ended up going into investment banking for about 10 years. I was a kind of large cap M&A advisor for technology companies in London and San Francisco. And then over the years got more involved in early stage tech and startup startup market. So I had these two strange kind of sides to my career. When I finally came back to music about 5 years ago, exploring kind of more electronic, alt pop kind of projects, I had this very strange experience of knowing how finance worked from an M&A and a startup standpoint, and then being shown these very weird, bizarre financial arrangements in the music industry. A record deal is a very weird financial instrument. And that's essentially, I think, where I got mixed up with the Rattle, because that idea of applying good startup economics and good business practices to a music career is exactly what we're all about.
Nice. So I actually used to work for Goldman Sachs in London, but I was on the operations side.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and then
how did you like that?
Yeah, I didn't. Not at all. I didn't like it at all. That's when
nobody liked it.
Yeah, I pressed the reset button and I went back to business school and I became a consultant actually before starting a record label in 2008. So I'm probably pretty familiar with your prior career.
Yeah, there's a very small Venn diagram for people that have done both of those things. Exactly.
Exactly. But I wanted to just kind of read off the description of what the Rattle is before you explain it to us, because I think it's pretty cool. It says, we are an underground movement with a mission to kickstart a culture revolution. We are a community for the most progressive thinkers and makers in music and technology. We're an invention of the music label.
You still there? You broke up for a second there.
Oh, you can't hear me anymore? Can you guys let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me, because I'm I think Helen's frozen. Let me know what you guys see. Comment, please. Comment. Yes, you can hear me. Yeah, I think the internet is slow on Helen's end. Um, let me see if we can fix this. Let me see. Yeah, I think hers is frozen. We'll get back to it in just a second. Uh, I think she might need to pop back off and all right, we'll get this sorted so you can hear you can hear me but not her. Okay. All right, hang with us. We're having some technical difficulties, obviously. Um, there, I think she just needs to pop out and pop back in. We got to wait for just a second, but I think you guys should really learn about what her organization does because there may be some opportunities for some of you to get involved. It's a very forward-thinking organization, and I can always appreciate the forward thinkers and their contributions to the music industry because we definitely have to push this industry forward. So, all right, here we go. She's add her back to the stream. Can you hear me now, Helen? Helen, can you hear me? Uh, Helen, yeah, I think it's a problem with her connection. Her connection is pretty slow, I think. Um, we'll continue to try. If we can't make this happen, what we'll probably do is record this separately and then make it available to you guys. In the meantime, if you're on, if you want to check out wearetherattle.com, just to kind of learn a little bit more about the organization. Obviously I wanted her on to talk about it so you guys can ask questions. Here we go.
Hello, I'm so sorry about that. I have no idea what just happened,
No
but I think I'm back.
Awesome. I think the connection is just a bit slow, so we just have to minimize our movements maybe, so we can try to get through it. But I was reading off just the description of what you guys have on your website. You there? Can you hear me? All right, so we're struggling on this session. The connection is super slow. All right, we're gonna continue to try to push through. If we can't make this happen, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. Maybe we'll take. Oh, also, while she's trying to figure this out, we have a text marketing session that starts at 1:30. I've been holding weekly text marketing sessions every Monday at 1:30. If you want to sign up, go in our Instagram bio, click the link to sign up. We'll be live on Zoom at 1:30. If you want to talk about how to use text marketing, why you should be using text marketing, I held a session for the past couple weeks. I'm going to be doing that at least for the next 4 or 5 weeks so we can get more people on and using text marketing. So typically what happens is we get on there and we discuss strategy for each people that attend the session, to get your ideas, get some new creative ideas on how you might want to use text marketing. So we'll be live in about an hour and a half after this session. So hopefully I'll see some of you guys there. All right, so I think I'm gonna wait for Helen to pop on one more time. If it doesn't work, we'll have to reschedule, unfortunately. In the meantime, if you guys wanna go to wearetherattle.com and check out what the organization does, I think there could be some cool opportunities for some of you to maybe get involved as well. I'm not sure how their application process works. That's what we were gonna talk about today. But we'll wait another minute or two and see if she jumps back on and see if the connection holds. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the comments and we can talk about that briefly. Yeah, I stepped up. We stepped up our camera quality. Mine's not as blurry anymore, so Payne put me on to how to do that. So we're trying to step up our quality. So I appreciate it. I pursue 6. Okay, looks like Helen's trying to hop back on here. Let's see. I appreciate you guys hanging with me.
Hello again.
All right, trying again.
Give this one more try. If not, we might be able to do something with audio only.
Okay. Can you? Okay.
How's that?
Yeah, we might need to do audio only. That's fine.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries. Can you just explain to our audience what the Rattle is and what you guys do?
Sure. So we're essentially a community of all types of individuals, but the collective goal is to think in terms of what the music industry is going to become. So we have artists, we have producers, we have startups in there, people building technology, people, video directors, anybody in the kind of creative village of music is welcome. But what we're trying to do is explore new types of business models, new ways to create content, new ways to get that to people, and essentially how the music industry is going to move culture forward. Because the way we see it, potentially, arguably, music and culture has kind of parted ways a little bit with the way commerce has kind of entered the game.
So as an example, so our community, I would say, is primarily artists and producers. So from a producer's perspective, or producers that you guys have worked with in the past, what does that look like?
So yeah, we have a lot of artists that are self-producing. We also have producers that are working with our other artists within the community. A lot of it is around skill sharing. We do a lot of sessions trying to help people become more self-sufficient where they can do, but also recognizing where, it's not necessarily the best move to try and become an expert at all parts of the process, and know when to outsource and when to collaborate. And so we become, a community for people looking for collaborators in that sense as well.
Gotcha. And then if someone wanted to be a part of the community, what is the process for finding new smart young talent to add to the village?
So we do have an open application system. But to be honest, for the most part, people come to us by direct referral a lot. We scout a lot. And, I think, I'm trying to think of the latest stats, maybe 1 in 10 actually comes through the application process. Because we're really looking for kind of a pretty specific thing. It's not just talent, and it's not just someone with a great message that we think is unique and has a distinct kind of personality. It's somebody who is being entrepreneurial in the way they approach things, looking to be independent as much as possible. It's not to say we don't have artists that are signed. We do have artists that are signed. We do have artists that are managed. But the idea is to help them explore a different way of doing things. The thing that I always find weird about a record deal is, you're assigning a business model to somebody before you've even really figured out what the product is. Yes, part of the product is music, and part of your revenue stream will be touring or streaming or whatever it is. But you would never, in a normal startup methodology landscape, you would never assign a business model before you figured out the product and the market. So we very much encourage all the artists in the Rattle to think outside the box when it comes to how you're going to deliver your product and what is the main income driver that you're going to be developing within that.
Nice. Do you have like a case study of somebody that maybe you can talk about that's part of the program that would kind of illustrate what you're speaking towards?
Sure. We have, there's so many people doing things in really interesting ways. Our Man in the Field is a UK Americana folk country artist who has raised venture capital instead of going to a record label. He has started monetizing his rehearsal schedule. He's now, pre-COVID, was allowing fans to come and watch his rehearsals. He was earning 10 times as much as he was from touring previously by opening up that part of his process. And that's a really simple way to add on an income stream, but people get pretty crazy as well. We have an artist called Dozier who's building out an entire virtual kind of parallel universe which is going to have virtual venues and a narrative and almost like an immersive gaming experience, where she's then going to invite in other artists to perform virtually. There'll be specific merch for different parts of the narrative, different places for artists to display visual work. And so that's going to almost have its own economy attached to it. So yeah, it's not necessarily one specific way, but it's a place to come and experiment.
Right. And are these ideas that artists and producers are typically bringing to the table, or is this something that you guys ideate together once you're part of the program? Like how does this, I guess the question is what type of support does Rattle provide to either come up with the ideas or bring these ideas to fruition?
Yeah, sometimes artists are coming to us with a really, really distinct idea of, they want to build an app that does this, and this is going to be the business model, and we help finesse that. Sometimes it's much more at the ideation stage of, this person just has a really, really strong message and is super talented, and we know they're going to create great music, but how can we build a model around them that's going to sustain them, not just creatively, but also economically in a better way than playing the Spotify game? So yeah, it kind of, people come from all backgrounds, and a lot of our work is around ideating those ideas, testing the business models, testing the market, and then building a business structure around it.
Nice. And to receive the support of the organization, what does the artist give, or what's the expectation for the artist? Is there a payment that's required? Do you guys have some type of equity in what they're doing? What does that look like?
Great question. Yes, we started out with a membership model. We still do offer that for the majority of the artists in the community. Right now, because of COVID, we wanted to make things just as affordable as possible. So everything is a flat $100 a month. That includes access to our recording facilities in LA and London, and access to the team. But the thing we found, especially over the last 6 months, whilst and everything's gone online, everyone's gone virtual, is the strength of the community is that as a team, we're involved less and less, because the community has started supporting itself, and as the community started solving their own problems in a peer-to-peer way. So what we've done as a team is start to explore what we call a venture label model, which is taking some of the most exciting projects that we've been developing within the Rattle for the last up to 2-3 years, for those that have been with us since the beginning, and then injecting external capital into them. But the difference in the way that we want to approach it is there's no copyright. We're not buying the rights of anybody. It's an equity investment, just like they were a company, because we believe that the investors into an idea should be the last people to get paid, not the first people to get paid, which is kind of the old model.
Right. I guess, so what would the difference be between like an equity model versus like a percentage ownership in their masters or their publishing? Like, I guess, is there a difference, do you see?
Yeah, so as a shareholder in the company, you only get paid out if the board of that company decides to pay out the shareholders in either a dividend or an exit of some kind. So although we would put advisors around that individual, essentially they decide at the end of each year, if you get into the position where your music business is turning a profit, you decide whether or not you want to reinvest that into next year's endeavors, or you want to pay out your shareholders. If we were getting a percentage of publishing, we'd be first in line picking up those royalties. You can argue a lot about gross and net, but essentially the artist doesn't get to decide how that money is reinvested or whether it's reinvested at all. Got
it. So it seems like, and with this current model, how big would you say the community is, or how many artists are in an agreement like this amongst the Rattle community?
So the overall community is about 130 now. It's almost split 50-50 between the US and Europe and London. Although now we've expanded globally a little bit. We've picked up people from Tokyo and Europe and Brazil. But in terms of the people that are on that equity type deal, we've just started piloting it with about 9 artists, and we're planning to roll that out to about 30 over the next year or two.
Got you. And then it's set up so that it's equity in obviously a business that's set up, but what's included in that? Is it everything that the artist does? Is it like merch and touring, and it's kind of like a 360 deal essentially?
Yeah, essentially, because like I said before, the music is only one product line, as in the selling of your rights to the music. It's, I'm sure you know this more than me. If you're an indie artist, chances are you're making more money off selling T-shirts on tour than you are off your Spotify. So yes, that's music, I guess, almost like a mini conglomerate, would call it, of all of the products and income streams that are related to you as a musician.
Yeah. So you'd actually be surprised, and that's something that I push back a lot all the time with people in the music industry. There's a lot of independent artists that in which streaming is their main revenue, and they're making a lot. Like it's not pennies. It's people that have been able to build a real strong fan base that just streams their music over and over again, and they're making six figures plus, on streaming. So I think what we talk about. What we talk about in the MEC is that, there's a lot of different ways to set up your business. Every artist has a different revenue mix. And I'm sure you see that with artists at the Rattle as well.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, you've got to spread your bets. You can't rely on one platform to deliver your pension. So the more you can own those different content streams, own your fan base, reach them in many different ways, the more set up you're going to be for a long-term career.
For sure. So how would one, if somebody's listening to this and they're thinking, wow, I think I have a lot of talent, but I also have a really creative way for how I want to pursue my career. I just need some support. And this organization seems like it would be perfect in providing the support necessary. It is outside of applying through the website. Is there anything that they can do to maybe get on the radar of your community?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, firstly, hit me up. I'm on all of the platforms, on Instagram and Twitter, all these things. So if you think you've got something interesting going on, send it to us. We'd love to see it. Beyond that, I mean, we keep our ears to the ground for all types of weird and wonderful things, and the weirder the better for us. If it's something we've never seen before, and it might not even have commercial value right now, but we think there's a way to reframe it in a way that does, and that could build an income stream for somebody, then we'll look into it. So yeah, make sure you're doing what you're doing, and you're not necessarily following the crowd. You're being the black sheep out there. That's what we're usually looking for.
So I just spoke with someone about speaking to our community about NFTs in a few weeks. Is that something that anyone in your community is exploring as a new possible revenue stream? Is diving into non-fungible tokens? I don't want to get too deep into it because I don't really understand it 100%. But is that something that's on the list of some folks in your organization?
We definitely have a few projects going on right now that are on the blockchain. No one specifically has, sold, NFTs yet. I'm a big fan of the model. I do think that music has become too ubiquitous, and anything to introduce scarcity in the model is a good thing. There's a little bit of an issue with carbon right now, with the way NFTs work. I'd like to see fixed before we went, really hard on it. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that we've been talking about for years and years and years. But the fact that the gaming industry as a whole, the differential in income that the gaming industry versus the music industry creates is kind of insane for something that is such a big part of our culture. And one of the biggest reasons, beyond just oversupply, which is a whole different conversation we go into, is we've trained people not to pay for it. So if NFTs are a way to reintroduce the idea of scarce digital items, virtual vanity items, all these ideas that come from gaming, I think it's a good thing.
And for those that aren't familiar with NFTs, we're going to have another session. I believe it got scheduled for February 15th, which will dive deeper into exactly what those are and how you might be able to take advantage of it. So we'll hold off on any questions related to NFTs, because I'm definitely not qualified to answer them. And I think, so Helen, I think you alluded to it earlier. I think the value of being a part of this community is the other people that are in it, like the other artists, the other producers. How do you guys help facilitate communication? Is there like private chats, or do you guys have sessions where people meet each other and connect? How does that work?
Yeah, all of the above. So we have private channels that are active 24 hours a day, so especially now we've gone more global in our membership. And it's getting to the point now, there's almost nothing no obstacle that someone can come across now that somebody else in the community hasn't already experienced and has really good advice on. So everything from, I've been locked out on my Facebook page to DistroKid's messed up my release date or whatever it is. If there's like a thing that it's troubling you like right now, there'll be somebody in the community that can come in and help you. On the bigger topics, we do kind of a lot of community engineering around kind of small roundtables. So, between 5 and 10 members at a time, all putting their heads together like a hive mind on a particular problem. Like, how can we hack together some way of getting 1,000 new fans for one of our members in the next 30 days or something like that? And it's one of those things that we found that, especially once you get enough people together with the right goal in mind, many hands makes light work. And those are some of the really most fun sessions that we do.
Awesome. So there's probably like a Slack channel that people are on.
Yeah. Lots of Slack channels. Almost anything you can imagine, including a meme channel. Obviously, everyone's gonna have a meme channel.
Yeah, I think that's super awesome, because I'm always telling artists to collaborate, work with each other, share knowledge. Like only good things can come from stuff like that.
Well, that was the idea it came from. Was we built this physical space in London with a place to chill, a place to work, 4 music studios, and the same as that we built in LA, except for LA also has a soundstage for making music videos. And the idea was artists and entrepreneurs and people in the business would come and chill. And if you were in a session and suddenly you decided, I need someone to throw down a bass line on this, you could pop your head out and grab somebody from the common space, and they'd come in and throw down with you. It was it's only because of COVID that we've had to move all of that stuff online. And we started building our own in-house remote production software to facilitate that same feeling of, hey, I just need someone to pop in right now and put a verse on this or whatever it is. Trying to get that feeling of spontaneous collaboration like back to where it should be.
Yeah. No, that sounds awesome. I'm here in LA, and I know there's probably a ton of restrictions, but when things lift, I'd love to come check out, what you guys have built.
Of course, come along anytime.
I think that would be awesome. So I know our people in the community might have some questions. I apologize for all the technical difficulties that we had earlier, but hopefully you guys understand kind of better what the Rattle does. And the opportunity that exists there. Obviously, it's a lot of smart people, a lot of creative ideas. And when it's given a little structure, a little organization, I think that you're more likely to bring those ideas to fruition. So is there, I guess, what, if you had to say, like, what, is there an artist, I know you guys haven't been around that long, but what would you say are like some of your bigger wins that you're proud of, that you've seen come out of the community?
I I mean, I have so many favorites. It's always like picking your favorite child. Finkel is one of my favorites. They're a married duo, actually, who have a crazy visual style to what they do. The music is great. It's kind of quirky electro R&B vibes, but they have an amazing visual style. And we've been doing some really fun live streams with them. They were due to go on tour right in, I think they actually just played their first gig in March when their whole tour got cancelled. So we were like, well, how can we turn this into a live stream thing, a virtual thing, at a time where everybody was so bored with live stream. And we ended up doing a virtual tour where they visited, I think that we had one in Antarctica, we had one in Toontown where everything was animated, we had something in space, and they just really went all out with this super creative, how can we kind of have fun with this live stream and make having our tour cancelled work for us. So they're a really fun one that I love working with. High School Jacob, he is kind of like a retro indie pop artist, and instead of music videos, we decided to put together these little platform video games. It was a better use of the budget. We thought we could access a new part of the tech in the market for him, and he's ended up creating a whole series of little video games that explore this kind of animated version of his persona as an artist. That's one I really love. Alfred Nomad is he's a rapper, poet, artist, but is also doing a lot of activism work for mental health for Black creatives. Has an amazing initiative at the moment for raising money for therapy. I mean, there's so many different weird and wonderful projects. We have a virtual reality opera in the works. It's all based around a 12th century German nun who had these psychedelic visions. So that's happening. I mean, there's fabulous stuff coming out every week. But those are some of my favorites at the moment.
I think this is awesome because there's a lot of young talent that doesn't necessarily have the support that they need to kind of, because most artists are kind of out there on their own until they find some quality people that really share their vision, and maybe they become their manager or another role on the team. I know that this is not a substitute for a manager per se, but it definitely sounds like some quality support. Do most of the artists that work with you guys, do they have managers as well, or are they looking for management, or do they see this as some kind of short-term substitution for management? How do they look at management?
It's kind of a mixture. We definitely have a few artists that have great managers, and we kind of slot in alongside them and help them come up with ideas and help connect them with people to fulfill the visions they have. We have plenty that are not managed, and we have a lot, not a lot. We have quite a few who maybe have previously been signed to a major and previously been managed and not had a great experience, and are now very much trying to be in the driving seat of what they're doing. So we can fit in around most situations. And there are certain artists that, no matter how hard they work or how great the music is, they're always going to need a manager. They're always going to need somebody to kind of bounce off of. And some people who are super, super self-sufficient, and what they really need to do is put together a team to execute the creative vision. So a lot of it is about coming in with artists at that stepping stone stage of maybe you've not quite got enough going on in terms of fan engagement right now to get a manager on board, but what can we do to get you there in the next 6 months?
Right. And is it more for the artists that you guys look to work with? How much does an existing fan base even play in the decision of whether or not to bring an artist or a producer on?
It's a useful data point, but it's not really a prerequisite. If we feel like someone's really making something unique and important, we don't necessarily need numbers to back that up.
Right. I think this is just a suggestion for the website, and some of the people that you talked about seem really cool, and it seems like they're working on some really creative things. I think it would be really cool to see those examples unless I missed it. Unless I missed it, they might already be on the website and they may be promoted. But I think it would be cool to see some of those case studies
Yeah.
because I think it would give artists a better understanding of kind of what it is you guys do and what kind of support that you can provide if able to be a part of the community.
Yeah, no, definitely, it's good advice. With all of 2020's challenges, I feel like our website became the last thing we were thinking about, and every so often we go, yeah, we do have a website. We should probably update it.
No, I definitely understand. It's been a very challenging year. You know, especially for artists, creatives, a lot of venues don't exist anymore. It's going to be interesting, even when things do lift, you know, what venues are accessible to artists, because, you know, a lot of them have closed down. I think the landscape is totally going to be changed. It's changed forever, really.
Yeah, I think it's going to accelerate a lot of things that we were seeing in part of the market before. And I've done a lot of work in immersive theatre, immersive entertainment prior to the Rattle, and that kind of small audience, multi-room, alternative venue, all of that stuff I think is going to come back harder than it ever was before. It's it's going to be a really long time, I think, so people feel comfortable getting back into Wembley Arena. And in the meantime, I think there's a really good opportunity for independent artists to put together really meaningful, high-value live entertainment without necessarily needing to pack out 5,000 people.
Right. So in terms of what you guys are doing this year, what is the kind of the primary focus, or what are the couple areas of focus? Is it continue? Obviously, you want to continue to support the folks that you have in the program, but are you guys looking to expand this year, or what would a successful 2021 look like for you guys?
Yeah, so we were due to close a fundraise at the end of last year with all of COVID uncertainty. That's been pushed into this year, but we're still planning to do a raise at the company level, so we can think about not only deploying that capital into the artist pipeline for the venture label, but also potentially looking at opening the space in New York. We're still looking for talent. We're looking to add to our team. Yeah, it's all about expanding the resources that the people in our community have available to them, and making sure I've always had this analogy of the music industry being this kind of big machine that we come to, and we push talent into it and reshape the talent to fit the machine. And that's how things end up kind of sounding the same and they come out the other end. But what we're trying to do is take each person with talent and build them a custom machine that's going to make them go as fast as possible. So we need a really wide set of skill sets within the community to do that. So yeah, we're going to be adding to that, I think, all year.
Awesome. I think maybe if you come on again, or when you come on again, if we could maybe come on, or maybe have an artist, talk about some of the cool things that they're working on, because the MEC is really all about kind of opening up. It's educating, but hopefully it's opening up people's minds to different business models, different revenue streams, and like really get creative about how you might be able to build a career in the music. It's essentially what you guys are doing, hands on with artists. So if there are any artists that are part of the Rattle that would like to join us and talk about some of the projects that they're working on, I think that would be really awesome.
Yeah, that would be great. I think that there's a really good bunch of people that we could bring on to talk about all of the experiments they've done, and what's worked, what hasn't worked, and ultimately, the goal is to put together business models that are investable, so they can go and get private investment that doesn't come from a label, that doesn't mean they have to lose creative control and scale.
That's awesome, and I'm just excited. There's people with your background that are jumping into this and trying to support artists, because I think it's gonna, really help, build solid businesses. Because I think now, I always tell artists, now is the best time ever to be an independent artist, because of, you know the resources that we have, the tools, but also the people that are taking an interest in music. I've been fortunate enough to talk with a lot of smart people over the past couple of years on this platform that are working on, very cool things to support artists in various ways. And you're actually hands-on with artists on, or do you specifically work like with artists on their strategies and like day to day, or is that something that other folks on the team do?
Yeah, we everyone on the team has kind of a mini roster. I have about 25 artists that I work with more intensively.
Nice.
And a lot of that, I mean, because I have a funny background, that can be anything from, harmony lessons, or, let's try and write a B section to this song, or, production techniques, right the way to, okay, well, let's make a pitch deck. Let's do financial projections. Let's talk about like your go-to-market strategy. So yeah, it's kind of, every day is different and every project's different, and that's what's fun. But yeah, everyone on the team is very hands-on with all the projects.
Awesome. Well, yeah. Well, hopefully people realize now that there's a lot of different options on how you can pursue a career and get support in your career. Obviously, you can sign to a label, you can sign to an indie label, you can do it yourself, you can build out your own team, or you can work with a more creative company like the Rattle. I think it's just awesome that they have these options, today to be able to fulfill their dreams. So I think that's cool. So yeah, but maybe next time we can get the camera to work, and maybe we can get an artist from the Rattle on to talk about their experience. I think that would be awesome.
That would be great. Apologies for my rubbish internet connection. That's the first time it's happened. So
no worries, no worries at all. I think I put the website in the comments, so you guys can go directly to the website and check it out. Is there anywhere else that they should learn or connect with your organization?
Yeah, as an organization, we're pretty terrible at marketing and being present, but we do have an Instagram. I believe it's We Are the Rattle. But best way to find out is just to talk to one of us. So hit us up. We'll get a call in the diary and we'll talk.
Okay, awesome. So you don't mind them hitting you up direct? I always, some guests don't want the influx of messages, and some don't mind. So
it might take us a while to get through. There's always a bit of a backlog, but we do try and get back to everybody. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Helen, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I think the organization sounds really awesome, and when COVID does lift, it would be awesome to kind of come by and just kind of see, what you guys are working on here in LA.
Yeah, maybe next time we can do this from the studios, and I'll give you a tour.
That would be great. That would be great. Well, thank you. Everyone else, make sure you check out their website, wearetherattle.com. Make sure you follow them on Instagram. And like I told you earlier, in about 45 minutes, I'm going to be hosting another session about text marketing, why you should use it, how you should use it. We're going to be talking all kind of strategies. So go to the Instagram, to the MEC Instagram, click on the link, sign up. It's free as always, and I'll see you guys there. Helen, thank you again. I will definitely be in touch.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.